As far as continuous authentication, I think it really is important, especially now, because we have so many different types of fraud vectors. You have conventional fraud where it could be the real person that comes through the door, and then as their account starts to mature, it could be account takeover. So you'd want to make sure that you're looking at the customer continuously through that channel just to make sure it is still the real person or the real customer. Now that we're also dealing with a lot of first-party fraud threats where it can be real people or potentially synthetics, again, through the front door or the first time you see them in onboarding, they look really good. And it isn't until they start to transact or they start to do some things that start to create more risky signatures that maybe you'd want to intervene later instead of right up front. So you don't have necessarily all the information at the time of onboarding, but things change. So we're seeing a lot of different things, and if you don't authenticate or re-authenticate throughout the process, you'll miss a lot of that and you'll start to see your losses go up and not be able to intervene earlier in those processes. Biometric bias, I think, is a very, very legitimate concern, and I know AI technology has gotten really, really good, but there are still areas where it could advance and be more inclusive. So it comes down to the data sets it's being trained on and a lot of different mechanics underneath that can really skew that one way or the other. I think it is something that people do need to take into consideration, that biometrics, even though they can be a really, really strong tool, they do have some weak spots and they do have some biases, and they can create false positives and they can cause more friction or cause more damage. So I think the training sets are getting better, but I think it's a process, and I think people need to understand that it's not where it needs to be yet, but it's growing and getting better each day. But it's something that you can't rely on 100%. I don't actually think there's really any tool out there that you can rely on 100%.